Good morning. Mm, Coffee. Good morning, everyone. I am Stacy. This is Walking in My Shoes, and we are loving my veteran. Let me grab a sip of coffee or two before we get too started here. I hope everyone had a great weekend, did something productive, rested, whatever it is you needed to do. I hope you did that this weekend because we all need our own time. um, Carl and I were blessed to, sorry, go to a May Day festival. Carl, you know I got my coffee with you. In our little old hometown of Nahunta, Georgia, where we live now, and wear our new Loving My Veteran t-shirts. They are on the page for anybody who wants one. We had a great time. There wasn't a lot of people there. It wasn't super crowded. We just got to go hang out. He got to throw some axes. It was amazing. So we had some fun and had some us time and much needed, much enjoyed, much appreciated time. So today's topic is Warfighters on the Homefront. Um, the back of our new shirts say Warfighters fighting for Warfighters because that's what we are. That is what we are. As their family and their spouses and their loved ones, we become the warfighters. So today's topic is literally about being a warfighter on the home front, and that our warfighters go through basic training and advanced training to be the best that they can be. And then, hello, we're here. And they get out and they've had all this training and they've had all this stuff, and we don't have a clue. Okay, so we have to be trained as well. We have to become the best war fighters we can be. And how do you do that? You know, basic training is simple I won't say it's simple, it's not easy because girlfriend isn't going to get up there and sweat ever. So unless I can do my basic training somewhere in Alaska, it's never happening because I'm not going to sweat. Oh, and I'm not going to run unless a bear's chasing me. So Alaska's probably a good place for me to do basic training. I'm just putting that out there. But when they go in, okay, they're given a bag with their basic essentials, with what they need. Their clothes, their boots, their socks, the stuff to get them through what they need. Right? And that's the basics of what they got. Then they go into basic training, right? I mean, they have to get in physical shape. They have to be able to run. They have to be able to crawl through the mud or climb the walls or whatever it is they do. They have to be able to do that. They have to learn how to shoot a weapon. They have to learn to be proficient and become good warfighters. And then they go on to advanced training to do what they specialize in. And they specialize in different things. You know, there's firefighting, there's artillery, there's cavalry, there's scouts, there's divers, there's IT people, there's nurses, there's doctors, there's all of that in the whole military environment. Okay, so all of these people come together and they get their basic training and they get specialized training. Now, they're home. Even as a military spouse, and I don't know how many of you have been a military spouse, but as a military spouse, it's kind of tough. But the advantage of being a military spouse is when you were stationed on a base with them, everybody around you is in the same boat, right? So you need something, you don't understand a terminology, you don't understand what chits are. I thought chits were, now I'm not even going with what I thought they were. Like, oh, we need to do a little chit. I'm like, a what? You've never taken a little shit. Never. So I think we need to do something different. I didn't even know that terminology existed. Didn't know what it meant. But you could pick up the phone, right? And there was somebody who had been through it. There was somebody in the FRG or in the Wives Club or somebody would talk you through it. And they understood it and they got it. Well, now here we are. Some of us have some of you have been with your veterans since they were active duty. Some of you have been with them afterwards. So now we have our veterans. They're here. Our warfighters are home, and they're trying to adjust to the real life. And here we are. newly formed Warfighters for them. We are their advocates. We are their warfighters. We are their partners. We will go through hell and back for them, and we don't have a clue. Right? We don't have a clue. We don't understand the terminology. We can't even begin to navigate through the VA paperwork. I mean, you got to have like a degree in VA, and I'm just saying, it is not a simple process. I was so excited when I found out what the blue button was in the veteran benefit thing that I didn't even know what to do. Okay, but and disability ratings and what is permanent and total, and I mean, there's all this stuff. Whether you're a Vietnam era, you get one set of ratings from one whole group. You get one. There's a whole caregiver program for VA veterans spouses. Okay, then you got the post 9/11 people. Good morning, Nakia. How's your face? That was a fun. I'm sorry, your sister's video was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Then you got the post 9/11, right? And their stuff is way more laid out. If you were post 9/11, you get I mean, it's still hard to navigate, but you get it. But then you got this gap in the middle. Okay, so people forget that in the 90s, that's when Desert Storm started. That whole era is, you got to fall between every crack. I mean, like lift up stuff, look for stuff. Same thing Nakia and them had to do with the Vietnam veterans when they first started, right? I mean, you had to go like dig through the trash to find stuff. Well, we don't know this terminology. We don't understand how it all works. We don't get it. We're not given the basic survival skills. Sorry, baby. I'll keep you in my prayers. We're not, if you, and by the way, I'm going to take a quick break here. If you have not seen Nakia's video that I shared to our group about Nakia's adventure yesterday, please watch it because it is entertaining. I'm just saying. I know it hurts, and I'm sorry, and I love you. But we're not given the basics. We don't even understand the basics. We don't have a clue what the basics are. We don't get terminology. I have your six. Okay, I have your six. What, you got a six pack behind us? See, I'm from the country out here, and when people, we don't even talk in sixes. Okay, I got your case maybe. Okay, I might have your case of bud, but we don't ever buy anything by the six. So when people say like, I got your six, I'm like, you got a six pack? That ain't gonna last. So that terminology is hard for us. Okay, good morning, Valerie. That terminology is hard for us. I got your six. We don't know what that means necessarily. Your how many clicks? I don't know what a click is. A click is a group of snotty girls at school. How do I know that a click is? And they talk that way. So we're not even prepared for the lingo. Now, Sunny's a little different because she's lingoed in because she herself is a veteran. So she's lingoed in. She's got that part. She can get through that part. But you don't understand it. So you got this weird terminology that you don't understand. You got all these papers that nobody in their right mind can understand. We have such a misconception. And Nakia said she would do a video for us on a lot of the paperwork. But you got this. I know it means I got your back, but I'm from the country, okay? A six big, we get stuff by the six pack, actually by the case. Anyway. So we have all of this stuff going on, right? And the VA paperwork is a disaster. I don't even want to sue. I don't even know the VA paperwork well, but I do know this. I have heard so many people say, well, I got a power of attorney. I got a power of attorney. I got a healthcare power of attorney. Unless they're unconscious or crazy as a loon and licking stuff off the walls and can't say their name, a healthcare power of attorney is worthless as tits on a bull. And that is the same whether you are in the VA or whether you're not in the VA. If I can still make an informed decision on my own, where I'm conscious, alert, oriented, that's it. That's all I have to be. Know my name, know kind of where I am. I don't even have to say what state. You in an ambulance? Yes, ma'am. Okay, you're good. That is legally what they clarify. Okay? Once that happens, and they can do that, I don't care if they want to refuse treatment. I don't care if you think you need to know what's in their medical records. It does not matter. That is protected health information, and a power of attorney, a medical power of attorney, legally will not give you that. That is designed for if they are unable to make decisions on their own. That's it. That's what it's for. That's what it does. So you can't just march into the VA with your little power of attorney, which everybody should have. Everybody should have a durable healthcare power of attorney. I am a firm believer in that. I have seen what it has done to families when the patient is unconscious and when they don't have a list of who's going to take care of what, and when there is no hope of recovery, and not have that piece of paper. That piece of paper is crucial. Okay, so I am a firm believer in one, but you can't walk into the VA with a durable medical health care power of attorney and say, I want their records, because it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way in the civilian world. So we have to understand that terminology. It's an ROI, right? Request of information. That's what you need. So Michelle's spitting off to me, well, you need to have an ROI. And I'm like, what the hell is an ROI? I don't even understand what that means. Okay, so that terminology changes as we go, and we're not even given that basic terminology. We don't understand that basic terminology. We don't understand that whole world, because if you were a spouse of the military, it was very clear that you were not assigned to your spouse upon enlistment. So you were told you're to be there, shut your mouth, and stand there when they need you. And sell the cookies and raise the money and do the bake sales and do all the stuff, but don't have an opinion of anything. That was the mentality. And it's still the mentality that kind of carries over into the VA. So we didn't learn all that. So now here we are. Now we've been with this veteran. We don't have the basic tools with which to deal with or understand our warfighter. We become their warfighters here. Warfighters on the home front. I hate, we'll say this again, I hate the term caregiver. I hate it. Okay? Yes, Nakia takes care of Richard because he has a slew of medical issues. But I assure you, Nakia is his spouse. Okay? Exactly. The power of attorney, if they can answer what your name is and do you know where you are, at least at that moment, they are also useless. Exactly. But Nakia is not Richard's. Yes, she takes care of Richard, but she is his spouse. So I hate the term caregiver. It's just one of those things I hate. I hate it. It's a pet peeve of mine. Nothing to do with the rest of you. It's just one of those things. But when you step into that caregiver role, you get pigeonholed into that caregiver role. You can be their warfighter. You can be their advocate that fights for them, and you can be their spouse as that. In the military, they have battle buddies. They have people that they trust with their lives. We've all heard it. We've talked about it before. You will never, ever, 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 ever have the relationship with your spouse that your spouse has with their battle buddy. Never. You were never in the same situation with them. You were never in the critical bombs going and know that that was the person that you had to depend on with your life in that situation. You will never have that relationship. And if you think that you're going to have that relationship where you are his or her battle buddy from overseas in combat and you're going to have that relationship, you were wrong. You're going to be in for disappointment. I'm just telling you how it works. Okay? However, it is, Stephanie, it's a bond that we can't get in. But we, as the warfighters at home, also can create a bond with each other. We have a bond. I have never met most of you face to face. There's 2 or 3 I have. Face to face. Never met you face to face. Other than Zoom, and that doesn't really count. But physically face to face. Okay, but I am very close to you, and I know that if I pick up the phone and call most of you, you're going to be, what do you need? I'm here to talk. So the same thing happens with us. But the bond we now form with our veterans is we become their warfighter buddies here. Reassess where you're at. You're their spouse. You're their partner. And you are the one who is always going to have that back. Okay? We are always going to have their back. That's the goal you shoot for. Okay? That's the goal you shoot for, is to bond as the warfighter here that fights for your veteran, and he in turn fights for you, and you become battle buddies here. Now, when you start utilizing that mentality and start really buying in to that mentality, you're going to see your life change. You're going to see your life change. Your boundaries are going to be set, because I assure you right now that if Carl would have talked to his battle buddy the way he talked to me sometimes when we first got together, his battle buddy would have knocked his ass out. And they would have got up, helped each other up, maybe gotten into a scuffle, helped each other up, patted each other on the back, and would have been closer than ever. Because they're not going to tolerate that from their battle buddies. We don't tolerate that either. Now, I'm not telling you to knock the hell out of me and get in a scuffle. But that kind of bond can exist here. But it comes from trust. You don't just get assigned a new battle buddy overseas and be like, oh, this guy's going to protect you forever. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay, right. I don't even know this guy. Let me assess him. They look him up and down. They try... Sorry, they try to interrogate them. They do all that stuff. That's not going to happen overnight, and that same relationship is not going to happen here. So get armed with the things that you need. Trust. Trust, 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 trust. Do not plant seeds of doubt. Do not plant seeds of doubt. That becomes super, 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 super important. When you plant those seeds of doubt, you might as well water all over everywhere. Okay? Don't plant the seeds of doubt. You're going to say things they're not going to like. They're going to say things you're not going to like. You're not going to agree on stuff. It's not going to happen that every single time you open your mouth, you're like, yes, I agree. Because I assure you, nobody dresses up like June Cleaver and cleans the flippin' house. It doesn't happen. And even if you're weak in one area, you can still make it. It works. You've got to have trust. And you've got to give trust to get trust on both sides. So if, again, it's like standing there, do you have the keys? No. Do you have the keys? No. And you're standing around the car for 45 minutes deciding how you're going to go somewhere because neither person has the keys. Somebody's got to say, I'm going to be honest, open with you 100% of the time and start building trust with you. And when you do that, they will start building trust on the backside. It happens. But somebody has to make that first move. Okay? You're welcome, Valerie. We love y'all. This is just a great family. But somebody's got to make that first move. So trust is a key thing. They trusted them with their lives. Now they need to trust you with their lives. Okay? Okay? And it's not automatic given. Do actions and use words to earn and keep that trust. Actions always speak louder. Actions always speak louder. It is just one of those things. So you've got to start to build that trust. Then you have to build communication. Back in the day, when we were in EMS, we used 10 codes like 10-4, 1050 was a wreck, 1070 was a fire. Well, the next county over used signal codes. Okay? And a signal 70 was something else. Nothing made sense. Nothing made sense, and nobody could talk to each other because we all used different 10 codes. And they were different county to county and state to state. Like GSP in Georgia uses a different set of 10 codes than State Patrol does in Virginia. So nobody could talk to each other. When they had big fires and we had to bring multiple units in, even from the way that they're structured, and y'all know this from looking at the different branches of the service. You know, one's got an admiral, one's got a general. Okay? They don't even have the same title going up. So the same thing happened when we were doing structured command. We couldn't talk to each other because a captain in one place was not a captain somewhere else in the fire service. So what we are now going to, unfortunately, which is sad for like Mike, when we used 10 codes, it was initially done so that people wouldn't interpret them to know what there is. Because I'm going to tell you, if there is a structure fire and I come on that radio and the dispatcher comes on that radio out in this county when we live, the people in this county think a scanner is their entertainment channel, okay? So if they hear that there's a 1070 full, you know, whatever, they're knowing it's a structure fire. So they all gonna get in their cars and they're gonna drive to see the structure fire. Well, that's beautiful, except you can't get the fire truck down the road. All right, so now, be advised, there's a structure fire, fully involved, flames showing, and they put it out there. Okay, so it is much clearer. But now you're talking in plain English. So what does Mike do? Now we already know what society feels about police officers, this and that and the other going on. So they already know that. Now Mike's in and other police officers and other EMS are in more danger because we're talking in plain English so everybody in scanner world can hear everything. Well, you got a fight going on. One's got a knife, one's got a gun. It's going to be two black males, and they tell you that, or two white males, or two Hispanic males, or a man and a woman, whatever. And now, again, this is better than pay-per-view. These people come piling up with their phones on, right? They're watching some woman get her ass whipped, and they've all got the cell phone by some big burly guy, and they've all got the cell phone. Ooh, she just... Nobody's going in to stop it. You know, it doesn't have... I'm like, what? So communication is key. We had to learn to communicate on the fire grounds. We had to learn to communicate on the accident ground. We had to learn to communicate on our way to a wreck. We had to learn to communicate on our way to a rape. We had to learn to communicate on our way to all of those things in a language that we all understood. Okay? That everybody understood. We have to do that with our veteran. Communication, after that trust, communication is important. Now, I'm not saying that communication is secondary to trust because you're going to build trust based on good communication, but you got to have both. So we have to learn to communicate. We also have to learn and remember the military mindset. They're given clear directions. Clear directions, number one. Very clear. Number two, they are given a very clear objective. This is what you're going to accomplish by doing this. Very clear. They have a desired outcome in their communication. Okay? They learn that from basic training on. When we communicate with our veteran, how many times are we clear in what we're saying? Clear. How many times are we concise in what we're saying? And how many times do we give a desired outcome? Prime example. Sitting there on the couch, looking out the back, and the grass is getting tall. And I'm like, man, baby, that grass is really out of getting tall. Answers, yep. Thinking, well, I wanted him to get his ass out and cut the grass. Right? So the next day comes along. Oh, babe, look, it's kind of cool this morning. And that grass really is getting tall, don't you think? Yeah, it's pretty. Oh, look at the squirrels. Get your ass out and use an effing lawnmower. That's what I'm asking here. However, when I say, Hey, honey, the grass is getting really tall. It needs to be cut. Guess what happens? He gets up, he goes outside, he cuts the grass. Now, a lot of times he does it without being told. That's not what I'm saying. It's the clear and conciseness is where I'm going. When you just make a comment, that is, oh, the grass is getting tall, they're like, yep, it is. Same thing with cooking. Carl cooks almost everything we eat, and he is an amazing cook, and he cooks almost everything we eat. So I'm like, he's like, what do you feel like for dinner? I'm like, I don't care. If I ever say I don't care, we are going to end up eating a grilled cheese sandwich, because he will never make a decision on what to take out to cook for dinner without direction. Okay? Because in the military world, failure is not an option. In the warfighter world, failure is not an option. That's where we need to get. Failure is not an option. We're not going to fail at this. We're not going to fail at our relationship. We're going to find a way to make it work. We're not going to fail at getting them the care they need. We're going to get it. All right, so you have to be exceptionally clear. And you can't sugarcoat shit. They don't want, I love you, mushy, mushy, moo, moo. They don't want that. Because remember, they hear about 3 things. So, baby, I love you so much. You're amazing. The trash needs to go out, and the garbage guy comes today. All right? So if you're trying to tell them the trash needs to go out and the garbage guy comes today, and they're only hearing 2 or 3 things, they got the baby, I love you, you're amazing, and the trash. They don't know what to do with it, but they got those 3 things. So be clear, because that is part of what we should learn in our basic training. Clear and concise. I know I want all the mush, but he gives me all the mush. He is so amazing. I'm telling you, I like grilled cheese and tomato basil soup. Just saying. But if I don't tell Carl specifically, like, I'm like, want chicken? Yep, chicken sounds amazing. Right now, I've got my mouth watering for some chicken. I go in the kitchen and I'm like, I'm having my chicken. Well, you didn't tell me how you wanted it cooked. Don't give a shit how you cook it. Just cook it. Right? Just cook it. So you have to be very specific. You have to be very clear. Those create fights that you never imagined possible. Specific and clear. Specific and clear. What's wrong? When you go to your veteran and you say, what's wrong? They're going to go, nothing. Or, I got it. Or, I don't want to talk about it. But do you know why that happens? Because we always look at them because we're in anticipation of something being wrong, because we're used to that. Then we go, baby, what's wrong? And they go, it's like a broken record. Honey, what's the matter? I get it all the time. I get it all the time. And he says, can't I just breathe? So not everything is wrong. And instead of approaching it with what's wrong, remember, we are talking about veterans warfighters who already feel, because of PTSD or a TBI or going against moral grain, who already feel partially destroyed. And now we're telling them something else is broken when we say what's wrong. The attitude is different. Instead of, hey, babe, what are you thinking about? Changing your verbiage and learning how it works goes together. That would be like the commander telling them, where are we going to, what target are we taking out? Oh, just shoot one downrange. Well, have you ever seen the downrange pop up at a range? Like, there's the safe guy, and there's the mommy with the baby, and there's the other one. And so That's what we do. Yeah, I know you've had a rough day. Do you want to talk about it? You see where I'm going with this? It, you have to ask, but watch the way you ask, Sarah, not what's wrong. What are you thinking about? I know you've had a bad day. Okay? You we do. Nakia is so right. We look we look for the negative. We look for the negative. And we need to stop. So as warfighters and advocates, we have to have some basic tools. I mean, we just have to. We also, think about it, y'all. I did not grow up in a generation of participation ribbons. Can I just say this? And if I'm offending somebody, oh well. I did not grow up in a generation of participation ribbons. We had winners and we had losers. And when you lost at something, you tried harder to do it better so you could win. It was a simple theory. Okay? I cannot sing. Not a note. I don't pretend to sing. I lip sync well, but I don't sing ever unless it's me alone in the car. I don't sing. However, I was in chorus for 4 years in high school, and I got most dedicated choral member, and I can't sing. Part of it was I knew I couldn't sing, and I didn't do singing parts in chorus, by the way. I learned to do all their audiovisual parts, but every day after school, I would practice with the choral director every day. And in my senior year, I sang a solo part in the Reds. I was so excited. It's probably the only notes I can hit, ever. But we don't get participation ribbons. You have to work. So what I'm going back to today, let's take the month of May and let's earn our ribbons. Let's earn our victories. It is Military Appreciation Month. Now, when you read what that means, it is in honor of all active duty military, veterans, their spouses coming together. That's what Military Appreciation Month is. So what I want you to do is either use your cards or get your sticky notes out. One of the two. You will award yourself ribbons every time you deserve it. You will also award your husband, your spouse, your partner ribbons every time they deserve them. Get in the habit of writing your victories down. Take this entire month and let's do what Nakia said. Let's stop looking for the negatives and let's look for the positives. Spend a month. Put them on the wall. I did not know. I thought it was silly, and Carl would look at him and he kind of rolled his eyes. I didn't realize that in reality he liked them. It made him feel good. He may have looked at me like I was dumb as a box of rocks, but it made him feel good to see our accomplishments, to see how I evolved, to see how I saw things. And then when he realized that I saw things a certain way, he realized that he wasn't doing things that he could have been doing because now he wanted to see more victories. You see how this is working here? If you just participate in life and don't try to get better at it, you're going to get a participation ribbon that says she was a miserable cow her entire life. She was mediocre. I don't want to be mediocre. I'm done being mediocre. I want to be the best me I can be. And I'm going to get up every day and do better every single day for me. Am I going to backslide? Absolutely. We all have off days. But if I wanted to be the best soccer player ever, can't do that either, y'all. That requires coordination. I would get up and I would kick soccer balls every single day. I shoot competitive archery. People laugh until they see it. Then they're like, oh, I can do that. Yeah, okay, have fun with that. You can't. Do you know how much practice I take to do that? Do you know, some part of it's natural, but I practiced to do that. I cannot go out today and shoot like I used to because I just haven't practiced. So practice to perfect yourself and get better. The only way as an archer shooting competitive archery is if you hit the bullseye every single time and you shoot 3 shots in the thing, you would Robin Hood each arrow. So you would literally have the arrow dead center, an arrow stuck in it, and an arrow stuck in that. That is the only way you would be perfect at shooting archery. Okay? That's it. Right, we all want our brownie points. We need to be those acknowledgments. But here's the thing. Elise, if he can't give them to you right now, give them to yourself. Say, I am proud that I didn't yell. I am proud that I didn't vomit. I didn't within my household. I love you, Nakia. I love you. Give them to yourself. When you make your victories, put it up there too. We got into it today and I didn't yell. Boom. Put it up there. Because you know what's going to happen? He is going to see it. And you're going to say, well, today he accomplished this, or whatever it was, whatever moment. Forget days. Remember, we don't do days. We live in moments. On this moment, this was my victory. Write it up there. His victory. The victory you guys had together. Then we got into it, but I didn't yell. Put it up there. And you know what's going to happen? He's going to see them. He's going to see them. And Stephanie, you're right. You cannot rely on them to make us happy and feel good. You can't rely on anybody to make you happy or feel good. The only person at the end of the day who can make you happy and feel good is you. Exactly. You are in charge of your own happiness. You. So in that old song that Toby keeps saying, it's all about me. It is. My life is all about me. My happiness. Because if I'm not happy, remember those saying, if mama not happy, nobody's happy. That is a true statement. Your negativity, when you are unhappy, rolls downhill and it spreads like a virus. So that's what happens. We're going to continue being warfighters on the home front, being warfighters here. This is what we do. Okay? This is what we do. And you're right, Sue, we can't make them happy either. We can make the environment more pleasant, and when the environment becomes more pleasant and less toxic, you are less likely to live in negativity. That will happen. But as far as their happiness goes, it is truly on them. But you can create a less toxic environment. We're going to talk more about this because this is a topic I just think we have so much that we could talk more on. So let me wrap this up for y'all real quick. T-shirts. I didn't take really great pictures, but they are great. They are this really cool gray. They're comfortable. We opted not to do black because it would get too hot, and we didn't do white because they would get too dirty. And my lovely friend Sandy designed them for me and literally had them printed in 2 days. So we are coming out with other combinations, other logos, other stuff going down the road, other colors, more girly stuff, more warrior looking stuff, whatever we need. So we're going to come out with all of those. But these right now, the pictures are on there. I'm going to set it up where you can do it. They're $20 a piece. That includes shipping until we get into, and yes, they are unisex. I have on a large, I think, and I definitely could have used a medium. They are also a cotton poly blend. They're like 15% poly, so they won't get the shrinkage, and they'll stretch, and they kind of hold their shape better. Super nice. Woman does them right here locally, so they are $20 a piece. That does include shipping unless you go to the 2X's, and then it's $1 more for each size you go up. Yes, I can do Venmo. I'll put all that out there on how to get them, but that's what they are. And like I said, she'll print unlimited amount as we need them. We've probably got 2 dozen here, so they can go out, but it takes her 2 days to turn them around. And so, like I said, they're on the gray, and anybody, I'm gonna put the little order form out, who wants more of the bracelets. The last set of bracelets that I know some of y'all ordered earlier got shipped out yesterday, so they'll probably got today. And anybody who orders anything new, just let me know. But I'll fix it so that you can order multiple bracelets and the shirts at the same time if you need them, and we can Venmo them or PayPal them. Preferred, doesn't matter. Anyway, that's where we are. I know we've ran super late, so I'll get that out there. It is Military Appreciation Month. Please post something. Hashtag Military Appreciation Month. Even if it is a picture of you being a super strong warfighter at home. So we can do bracelets. Please hashtag pictures all this month, not only in our group, put them on our page, put them on Instagram, your personal page, hashtag Military Appreciation Month. Get them out there. Share your stories. You guys are warfighters and you are heroes, and we love you. And I'm Stacy, and this has been Walking in My Shoes. We're loving my veteran. Have a blessed day. Bye.